Greetings everybody, and welcome back to the landscape. Now, I've been wandering around in this woodland and I just happened to come across this tree, this absolutely gorgeous tree, just glowing with yellow leaves. And I'm not sure if I've said this on my channel before, but yellow is actually my favourite colour. I decided a long time ago as a young lad, when all the boys liked red and all the girls liked pink, I decided I was going to be different and I was going to like yellow. And I've liked yellow ever since. I followed the Jordan Formula One team. They were yellow. I've got quite a lot of Jordan gear because it's yellow. So this caught my eye because it's yellow. But it's quite a chaotic object and it's quite a chaotic scene. As an atmosphere, it's a mixture of yellow, green, some of the leaves are starting to turn brown. The trunk is very wet, so it's very dark. And that's lovely because that creates this beautiful contrast and also adds some structure. And the structure that I'm actually seeing is a ladder. And you tend to go up a ladder, don't you? Unless you put a wrong foot on, in which case you come back down again. But generally, you associate a ladder with going up or down. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to challenge myself to create an image of this tree in 5 attempts or less. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to compose the scene, I'm going to take an image, and then I'm going to be really critical about it. And I'm then going to try and improve on what's just been created. So bear in mind, the initial attraction was this wonderful yellow pumping out at me. And that's what I want to try and recreate in a picture. I've also got the what's the word I'm looking for? Lattice, which is creating lines that move up and down the frame, which hopefully guide the viewer up and down the frame as well to take in all that colour and atmosphere. So, you saw me compose up just now, and I'm not 100% convinced on the composition. And that's principally because of the bright sky. I've got a dark coloured lake in the sort of towards the bottom of the scene, but the sky is very, very bright. It's a flat grey day today. So, and that's why I'm in woodland, because flat grey days benefit subjects where you've got a lack of contrast, no deep shadows, no bright highlights, which is kind of why I've come to a place like this. So I need to be careful. I'm being rained on. I need to be a bit careful that I don't introduce too much in the way of distractions. Or maybe I go the other way and I have the top of the tree against the sky, and therefore there's that instant contrast, and everybody will just accept the fact that it's bright behind. Also, a bright behind will actually, the yellow will glow a wee bit more. But I do like the bottom of the tree where it's all dark and there's all these lovely branches. So I think I'm going to go with that for starters. I will put you behind the camera in a moment, but I'm going to go with the original composition that I was starting to pull together. I've got a little bit of the ground here. Just going to make sure we're level, which we are. Yes, I've got highlights. I've got gaps, certainly at the very top, and not so at the bottom. But I'm going to go with that as for starters, because I actually like that scene as it is. I'm going to focus on the nearest branch here, because that absolutely needs to be sharp. So I've just moved the focus point onto it. Oh, whoops, hang on, there we go. There we go, like so. F16. Now it's at 1.6 seconds. And that branch there is moving. Oh, hang on, it's just actually started to stop. Oh, that's cool. Right, the wind dropped, it created a little bit of a lull. So let's put you behind the camera and look at the result, and we'll be critical about the result. The picture was taken in portrait, but of course this camera is not replaying that in its re-review. You can see all these bright highlights blinking away quite happily. I could have backed the exposure off, but then we'd lose the glow. And I was talking about during the intro about that being distracting. Now clearly as it's flashing it is distracting, but this area down here that exhibits that glow but doesn't have any of this. The only reason I don't like that bit down there is all this green, but then the flip side of that is, does the green actually help to contrast with the yellow and make it glow? Right, let's find out. Let's stop procrastinating. Let's go back there. Let's change the view to a square. And then let's recompose. I need to move the microphone out of the way. So we tilt the camera down. I might need to go for my longer lens. Oh no, it might be all right. How much can I get away with no sky? It's going to have to be that, I think. Let's come across. Oh, that's better. Yeah, there's a patch of sky. Let me just get my piece of grass that I was using to point with. There's a patch of sky just there in the frame. So I need to come around. Let me just reposition you. I'm trying to avoid the glare as much as I can. So I think that's going to need to come down so that I don't have a patch of sky. No, in fact, I'm going to zoom in a wee bit instead, or a mixture of the two. So what's going on over here? Oh, that's the edge of the bank. Can't be too much, but I do now like the fact that we've got this we've got this green branch that's a lot more prominent in the image now. I'm just repositioning you so you can see that a bit better. I quite like that. It's got a good base, all this grass, and you can just about make out, I think there's some ferns and some fallen leaves. I've got this lattice. I've also got a branch here that's reaching into the scene from left to right, so hopefully that's guiding the viewer. In terms of focus, I think I need to stick with the original and have that branch there. Okay, I've just checked that I'm level, which I am. There we go. So I've done it again. I've chucked my piece of grass away that I was using to help point with. There we go, there's another piece. So I focused on this branch here because it's closest to me, and at f16 that should allow everything to be sharp front to back. The wind has picked up again, and as you can see I've got an exposure of 1.6 seconds. So what I'm going to do is just wait. Right, here we are. There we go. Now I think that's definitely stronger than my first attempt. That's my first attempt. Yeah, whoops. Focusing has decided it's not happy. Hold on, just pull back a bit. There we are. That was my first attempt. Yeah, that's okay. I think that's definitely stronger. Much, much stronger. Definitely exhibiting all this yellow glow. And then you've got the contrast between the green and the bark, you know, the dark bark. Now there's a bit of me that's wondering about, well, what if we embrace the bright? I will reposition you in a minute. Not that one, that one. Let's embrace the bright. I think I'm still going to stick in a square. I think I can come out quite a bit. I think I can come out quite a lot actually. Let's come out all the way. And just embrace the bright. Okay. I know you can't see that. Let me just come back. There we are. Now, I think I'm going to have to overexpose. Does a larger frame suit the scene? Yeah, potentially. Yeah. How far do we go? No, I'm not going to go that far. Oh, there's a squirrel right in front of me. How bizarre is that? Hello, mate. So that's not happening for me because of this bright area up here. So if I come in a wee bit, that means all the corners are covered. Oh gosh, I don't know. How are we going to manage that one? Let me zoom right in. Let's see if I can find a vignette of brightness that still exhibits all of those qualities that I talked about earlier. I am zoomed right in, aren't I? I don't know, it just looks messy, doesn't it? I don't like that at all. I tell you what really, what really does me is these bright sections here. The bit that's most inherently interesting is actually sort of this chunk, or maybe even that chunk there. So maybe let's try that instead. I know this video is going on a little bit, but I'm going to go back to square as well. Square is good for presenting a subject where we've just got a subject. No, that's not happening. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. But what I am going to do is I'm going to move around. And I'm going to move around because there is a particular frond. It actually caught my eye when I was walking up here. Let's reposition you so you can see that. There's a frond here that comes out into the scene. Let me just focus on it. There we go. How close can I get to that? I like it because it's glowing. But what's letting it down is there's no contrast between it and the background, so it doesn't glow. Now, I'm going to have to go back to my original view, I reckon. There you go, you see. This is why it's worth investigating, because there are always options. Let's just reposition you so you can see the back of the camera. I know it's a bit on the wonk, but there we go. Now, I think the strongest view was down here. But what I am going to do is I'm going to try a view with no ground. I'm trying to pick up on that lattice idea that I talked about. Where is the ground? It's there. Maybe just the corner, just to hold the corner. Mind you, if I come across, there we go. Something like that. We're going to focus on that branch, and we're going to go radical. And we're going to do this at 2.8. And the reason for doing it at 2.8 is because that area of green will be sharp and everything else will be indistinct. And I'm hoping that that sort of glow idea will be strengthened by this area of green being sharp. I think I've introduced a little bit of sky up here, but to be perfectly honest with you, I'm just going to have to live with it. So let's just recheck focus. That's good. Right, I've just double checked that the camera is level. That's looking good. I've got this branch coming up here to help hold that corner. There is a tree trunk or something here with a little piece of grass. I've got something wandering across the top to help hold the top. I'm just going to double check focus. Cool, I'm going to go for it. Lovely. And at f2.8, of course, the shutter speed is nice and fast, and I'm not worrying too much about. I think that's the one. That was my first attempt, which is okay. It's all right, but I was bothered about all this sky. Second attempt was just focusing on the area below, ignoring the sky, but introducing the concept of a base and a bit more green to contrast with the yellow. And then the third attempt is a little bit of green, more yellow. I think that's the one. That's the one that really sums up what it feels like to stand here. Also sums up my first reaction to the tree, which was, oh, wow, look at that. Yeah, that's the one. All right, so I managed it in 3, maybe 4, if you consider we did actually look up at the sky and see whether we could embrace the brightness and allow that to help enhance the yellow. So if you made it this far, thank you. And for all you doubters out there, just bear in mind for a minute that all this digital technology is brilliant at helping you to manage your exposure, your highlights and your shadows, and give you information about making sure that you capture the image as best you can on the sensor and on the card. The one thing that this technology doesn't help you with is what's in the viewfinder. That all comes from you as an individual. And you know, it kind of feels a bit weird actually talking through the process of finding the scene. I almost do it without thinking. So to actually stand here and consciously think, right, I need to describe what's going through my head, that does feel a little bit unnatural. And I'm very, very grateful that there's nobody in this piece of woodland that I'm in, because if they'd stumbled across me mumbling to myself, it would have looked a little bit weird. So thank heavens for that. Maybe the rain that's just started is serving well to put them off. So in view of the rain, I'm going to wrap this video up right here. I managed it in 3, not 5. Sometimes I'll take several interpretations, and it's actually the first one. First one that I did, that's the one that encompasses the scene, the atmosphere, the reaction. Not very often. Occasionally I do have to work towards it, and certainly that's what I was doing here. So, thank you for watching. If you like landscape photography, do consider becoming a subscriber if you're not already. Hit the subscribe button, and also if you hit the bell icon alongside, you'll get notified as to when I upload new content. If you've liked this video, please give it a like. Hit the thumbs up button on the YouTube system. Helps the channel, helps this particular video, and you know, we all want our content to be seen, don't we? So yes, if you liked it, please do it, because then the YouTube engine shares it with more people. So until we're out in the landscape again, thank you very much. Take care, stay safe, and look after each other. Bye for now.